Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Highruler, and today we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball The Breakers. And this weekend, guys, if you didn't know, is the closed beta test. And I've been playing it on and off for the last few hours, guys, and I really think there is something here in the asymmetrical multiplayer genre that really provides a fun gameplay experience in the Dragon Ball world. Now, with that being said, today's video is going to be kind of talking about some of the things that I don't like about the game and some of the things that I really do think need to be fixed or balanced in order to make the game in a healthier state for the overall population. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, the way the game works is that you have 7 survivors versus 1 raider. Now, in the closed beta test, that raider is Cell. Now, as you guys know, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, Cell is very powerful. Regular people are just regular people, right? So in the lore of the world, it makes sense for Cell to be super powerful and able to kind of just demolish anything in his path without the Z warriors in front of him to stop him. Now, the problem with that in a gameplay perspective is that it just doesn't provide fun gameplay for the 7 survivors in the game. Now, what is happening, guys, is that Cell is able to kind of evolve from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 to level 4 very quickly. He's able to track down all the survivors very quickly. And it doesn't really seem like there's a lot of ways for the survivors to outplay the raider in this sense. Now, that isn't to mean there's no ways to outplay the raider, right? For example, if you're being chased, you can call the remote Saiyan pod. The pod comes down, you get in it, and it blasts off to a different area of the map. Yeah, totally. That's on a 90-second cooldown, I believe, right? So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is that you actually can go around the map in order to charge up your spirit transformation in order to take on as one of the Z warriors, right? Vegeta, Goku, Piccolo, Krillin, Yamcha. You can do that as well, and those have their own levels from level 1 to level 4. Now, the issue with that in particular is twofold. Now, they are very weak, right? And of course, they should be weak to some degree because you don't want someone just going and transforming and able to beat the raider. I get it. But the problem with that too is that it takes so long in order to get the energy in order to transform, whereas the raider is able to level up super quick, and that makes there's a big power balance difference there. Now, the survivors themselves can't really do much. You have some with a rocket launcher, you have some with pistols, but overall, the damage output that they can do is just not there, right? So you're basically just employing a gameplay element, a gameplay loop that basically means you're cannon fodder. The moment the raider sees you, you're pretty much dead, right? There is no ability there outside of the remote Saiyan pod in order to kind of outplay the raider and get away, right? For anyone who's played a game like Dead by Daylight before, you know that you have the ability to get away from the killer if you're able to kind of employ better gameplay elements, better gameplay tactics. You're just a better player. In this game, for example, you can. Once you're caught, and unless you have that remote Saiyan pod as well, you're kind of dead. So many times I would be a level 2 or a level 3 against a level 3 raider, and even though I'm basically transforming and trying to fight, and the control schemes are very different from Xenoverse 2, by the way, I'm basically sacrificing myself for the team at that point. And if you're in the early game and you're trying to do that at the early game, it's just not going to work whatsoever, right? You're basically dying super quick, and then the game's over at that point for you. I think what they need to do is honestly just slow down the transformations, the evolutions of the raider, right? Don't make it so quick to go from level 1 to level 4 or level 1 to level 3, and allow the raider to kind of be at our level for a little bit longer in order to kind of, maximize the amount of time that the survivors have in order to get these super keys set up. And the reason for that is the next point that I'm going to bring up. At the end of the game, they call it the defense phase, I believe. Once you have all your super keys set up, then you call down to this platform here in order to kind of activate the super time machine, right? So what it ends up being is that the raider has to go and destroy that platform, that machine, while the survivors have to activate it, right? Now, once again, as I just said, the idea here is, and I can only speculate because my gameplay, as you guys are going to see, isn't really the greatest for this point, but I can identify the issues already. So the idea here is that multiple groups of people in the survivor group have level 3 or level 4 transformations in order to kind of go and fight the raider while the rest of your team goes and tries to activate it, right? Now, what is happening is that the raider is able to pick off so many people so quickly that over the course of the match, you're not able to get all those power-ups like you would, which means you're going in there with half your team maybe, and you're basically just being cannon fodder. Now, at the end of this, when the raider actually destroys the super time machine platform that you're having to use, time machines actually show up around the map, which means that at that point, the survivors are free to run off and actually go to these other time machines to escape the map and leave the game, right? Now, problem with this is that it just doesn't really play for good gameplay, right? So you're basically going to defend something, you're supposed to defend it as a survivor. I don't know how that's going to work against a raider. And the idea is that once that is done, you're able to just hit the time machine and leave the game at that point, and you're able to win. That to me just seems like you're basically funneling the survivors into one area for the raider to kill anyways. And of course, it just doesn't really seem fun, right? No, obviously I get the reason why they do that, because obviously by getting the amount of charges that you need, your time machine actually goes faster, which means you're able to get away from the raider who is able to fly around. Yeah, it makes sense in terms of the lore, but in gameplay, it just doesn't make sense once again. Honestly, what they should be doing is they should be putting multiple platforms around the map in order to get the speed bonus and make the raider fly around. And there should be no indication about which one is being used and which one isn't. It just makes the raider kind of have to work for these kills. Right now, a raider doesn't really have to work for the kills at all. They basically just fly around, they see you, they kill you, and you move on. And that to me isn't really a fun gameplay experience. This is why, once again, people are probably trying to queue as the raider, because the raider is just basically you're sleeping at that point and you're moving around, you're getting free kills. The survivors right now are basically cannon fodder for the game. I don't think that's a fun gameplay element. I think if you want to do a game like that, you can make a PvE and you can move on, right? An asymmetrical multiplayer game, yes, one group should have the numbers advantage, but also the gameplay disadvantage. But I think the scale of that disadvantage in this game right now is too far gone in order to make it work. Once again, guys, this game is actually super fun. I actually do really love it, but I think they definitely need to work on some gameplay balancing. They need to work on what they do for that end game state, because if they don't figure this out, there's not going to be a lot of people who are going to want to play as Survivor, and everyone's going to want to play as the Raider, and you're going to end up with a game that just doesn't really have a healthy population to kind of move forward with. Now, with that being said, guys, those are my first criticisms of the game just based off the gameplay elements. What about you? Have you been playing it at all? Do you enjoy it? Do you not enjoy it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more Dragon Ball The Breakers videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time here. My name's been Highruler. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Later, guys.